Welcome to this presentation by Zeno Analytics on linking analytics to strategy using the Analytics Strategy Value Map. Zeno Analytics helps you close the gap between reality and your expectations of advanced analytics investments and projects. We're an analytics translator and a data translator as described by Harvard Business Review and an MIT Sloan Management Review. To derive value from analytics, you need to create a convergence between four dimensions: business process, data, IT architecture, and analytics to glue them together. At the intersection of these four dimensions is where you derive the value from analytics. It's where business process, data, analytics, and IT architecture come together. To start out, you need to think in strategy maps, as in the balanced scorecard. A good reference here is Having Trouble with Your Strategy, Then Map It by Robert Kaplan and David Norton. And the idea is to map your KPIs on all levels, from business objectives down to your operational processes, and make sure that you understand how they actually link together and how they influence each other to the top. You also need to think about a decisioning architecture, where you look at what are my business objectives, what are my business goals, what are my decisions that I make, what is my analytic infrastructure, what is my data infrastructure, and what is my IT infrastructure. And you also need to look at the different functions and the different responsibilities on the right-hand side, and you need to think about the governance of that process. Now, this model is based on an article in the proceedings of the 2014 annual SRII Global Conference, Service Value Modeling, a systematic method to unveil the business value of industry solutions. The total decisioning architecture framework is a bit large to discuss for today, so we'll in the end up with a simpler example of this architecture. The goal of the Strategic Analytics Value Map is to link the decisioning architecture and the activities in that architecture to the KPIs at the different levels so that you can relate it back to your overall strategic objectives. So by using this map, you can actually look at the immediate impact from IT, the immediate impact from data, the immediate impact from analytics, and actually link that then back to the business outcomes. To give you a very simplified example, you could have as a business objective to increase revenue. And one of the business goals attached to this objective would be to acquire new customers. Of course, there could be many others, like sell more to current customers, retain more customers, etc. The decision that you might want to think about is, who do you want to target? To do that, you might need the analytic capabilities on prospecting and credit limit modeling. So prospecting to find the right targets, and credit limit modeling to determine how much you can actually sell to them. To achieve that, you might use predictive modeling, machine learning, and campaign optimization to find the right targets. As input, you would need from the data infrastructure customer and prospect data, which could be from your internal data, customer and product information, revenue information, and previous campaign data, and from an external data provider, for example, the marketable universe for the people or the potential customers in your market. And all of this is supported by the infrastructure. Now, overly simplified mapping this, you could say on the top end, for example, that your KPI is your total revenue, and that you drive that on your business goals with the number of new customers and the revenue per new customer. So using prospecting and credit limit, you could actually influence the conversion rate, the order value, and the payment received. And that is driven also by, for example, data quality indicators like the bounce rate or the number of duplicates in your customer file, because they have an influence on conversion rate and also on the order value. Because if you have the wrong information about your customers, you might be missing out valuable prospective customers. The same goes for a number of customers with missing data. And then, of course, your external credit risk accuracy model, because that influences your payment received, but also your order value, because it influences your credit risk or your credit limit model. And once you've looked at, okay, where are my potential value drivers from analytics, you would need to look at the expected value and the expected effort, and you can build a prioritization matrix. Now this one is very simple, a high-low division, where if the expected value is high and the expected effort is low, that is your low-hanging fruit. If the expected value is high but the effort is low, you may want to start planning those initiatives. If the expected value is low and the expected effort is low, you may want to do that when resources are available. And the ones where the expected effort is high but the expected value is low, you do not want to touch it yet, because that might change in the future. You might identify that there is actually an influence of some of those on other high value ones, and they may move across this matrix. So it's not fixed in time. You need to reevaluate this prioritization matrix on a regular basis. How do you determine the expected value and effort? Basically is by doing a proof of value project. Just a limited time project with clear goals linked to the business objectives. And you need to make sure that it is not just an academic exercise, but it leads to real results so that you can actually evaluate the value of analytics for your own organizations. You also want to look at stories from other organizations and industry analysts. And you don't want to only look in your own industry, because you may learn from other industries. You could learn, if you're in telco, you may learn from financial services. If you're in financial services, you may learn from retail. If you're in manufacturing, you may learn from professional services. If you're in professional services, you may learn from the hospitality industry, etc., etc. You do need to be critical about the content, of course, because most of the published stories have been edited and shined up by the marketing departments and the content writers. You want to, and this is an old one and it's still valid, think big and start small. Build it incrementally so that your organization can adapt to making decisions based on analytics, so you can adjust your analytics. Your environment is changing constantly as well, so you need to continuously learn and improve, and you don't want to boil the ocean in one go. Thank you for listening to this presentation by Zeno Analytics. We can help you set up your analytics strategy, we can review your current analytic processes, and we can help you design or redesign your current analytics solutions. The contact information is on this slide. Thank you very much.